Yes, my gorgeous Aries, yes. What is going to happen at the beginning of this week? You are going to find ridiculously rewarding, and I mean this in the best possible way. It's what are you going to find out? On one hand, it's going to open your eyes, but then on another hand, as I said, you are going to find this ridiculously rewarding because, number one, something that you've been like persistently thinking about and persistently worrying about, thank God it's coming to an end. And then on another hand, you're also going to be able to make an important step, an important move. What am I talking about here is most importantly really significant for you. This is gonna mean to you so much when I say that you are gonna be able to make an important step which is so significant to you, like there is no tomorrow. And as soon as you make that step, as soon as you make that move, just remember, my gorgeous Erini, just remember, something that was worrying you for so long, it's coming to an end, okay? And on another hand, this is going to be a sign, this is going to be a good omen, this is going to be a green light that you will be able to make an important step, an important move. This means to you so much. This is a very personal to you, but at the same time, you know, this is going to create this powerful moment in time where you are gonna be so you're gonna find it so refreshing, so rejuvenating, so re-energizing. Why are you gonna find it so refreshing, rejuvenating, and so re-energizing? Because you are instantly gonna pick up and you're instantly going to be reminded of your own path. You're going to instantly be reminded of your own, direction in life. And that in itself, it's like, oh my God, going to put you in such a fantastic, optimistic mode. And this in itself is going to be remarkable. But then on another hand, when I say that you are going to make an important step, an important move, this is something that means to you so much. But as soon as that happens, my gorgeous Erini, as soon as that happens, you are something something is really going to surprise you. Something is gonna kind of take place, something is really gonna surprise you. And what is gonna surprise you, it's more about one specific person who is actually going to come through, who is actually going to come forward, a very important person. It's gonna come true, it's going to come forward, and they are gonna tell you some kind of information that has been missing with all this. You are gonna be grateful to God. What are you actually going to become aware of, and what are you actually going to find out, my gorgeous Erini, here? Because this in itself, it's more to do with the crucial information that was missing, that has been missing when it comes to all this. And you've done everything so far absolutely perfectly, okay? Because what are you doing right now? All those certain elements are not going to be so clear towards which you're drifting, but you are looking at like a kind of, you're focusing on an end picture. Do you know what I mean? You're focusing on an end result, and that's exactly what we should be doing in our lives. If you feel so passionate to do something, to go somewhere, or to make a certain move and to make a certain step, like most of the time we are not too sure how we're gonna get there, but it's more about this energy and passion that becomes like a driving force. So all we need to do is just to focus on an end result. Bless your heart, that's exactly what you were doing when you were making that move. But as soon as you make that step and that move that I was initially talking about, as some very significant person, it's going to come through, it's going to come forward. And that particular person, it's like, oh my God, this is going to be so crucial, because as I said, they're going to point out something that's missing, a crucial a crucial information. It's gonna be pointed to you, my gorgeous Erini, and you are going to be so grateful because you know, on one hand, it's gonna be highlighted something that you need to pay attention to, something that you didn't pay attention to. So this in itself, it's gonna give you a more kind of chance to prepare, because you will be able to kind of cover more thing when it comes to your mind, and that in itself is subconsciously also going to help you to kind of see further than you already are. Absolutely brilliant. So what this information that you're going to become aware of is going to be crucial, because it is going to prevent some kind of like a tower or something completely unnecessary which would kind of come along the way. So this is going to be absolutely brilliant indeed. By the time you get to the mid part of this week, ooh la la baby, it's about an important news here. You are going to have such an important news, and this in itself, it's really going to surprise you, because it's about a certain progress, about something that you've actually even not necessarily forgot about, but you just did not think about lately whatsoever. And sometimes that's the best way to be, because you have actually manifested this, my gorgeous Erini. When we kind of start something, and then when we are kind of focusing on it like too intensely, then we prevent certain things from happening, or almost as if we are not honest with our spirit, we're not honest with our soul, and we create a very intense energy when we are persistently focusing on something. And so that way we actually don't allow ourselves to kind of move on. So when it comes to this thing, do you know what I mean, at around the midweek, it's about some kind of something that you worked on, something that you were doing a while back, and I say that you did the right thing, but kind of forgetting about it, because you have allowed this to kind of manifest. So this is the direct result of your manifestation. It's to do with a certain progress, that it's most certainly to do with some kind of a justice and some kind of a good karma. This is to do with the justice, this is to do with the good karma, but also at the same time, it's a very important moment in time, because you are not only that you're gonna be really delighted, but now you're gonna remember, not that you're gonna be really excited, but now you are really gonna be thinking about that part of your life that has kind of brought this progress in. And at the same time, you will remember a while back that somebody has given you some kind of advice when it comes to this, but you couldn't follow that advice back then because it wasn't the right time. Nothing happened, nothing unfolded. So now this is going to create this powerful moment of unfoldment, where you are at the same time not going to be so happy with some kind of a justice and some kind of a karma and something that you've been waiting for a while, but also you're going to be really excited because you're going to be reminded about that advice that somebody gave you like a while back, but you felt really frustrated about not being able to do anything about it, indeed, because you know certain things hasn't been kind of resolved. So this is why this is going to be so important, because this in itself, it's really kind of going to also make you aware of the fact that how you're going to be able to make a big change very soon, much sooner, when it comes to your future. So this is why you're going to feel so excited, because you will be thinking about making a big change, but that big change is not going to be like a kind of miles away. It's only like about a few meters away, baby. And that's why you're going to like this, my gorgeous Erini, so much indeed. You know, this is absolutely brilliant, but it's also like kind of bringing such an important potential into your life as well, that now, my gorgeous Erini, you can actually do something about it, because it's also a lot about your inner strengths at the moment, and things like that are pretty much gonna kind of also gonna make you feel so much better about yourself, and once you're in that mood, nothing can kind of stop you ever again. By the time you get to the last part of this week, my gorgeous Erini, you know what I mean, here I love this so much. You will want to have a little bit of a party here, you know, you will want to celebrate a little bit. That's how happy you're gonna feel, because it's to do with you kind of first of all having a very intense conversation with somebody very close to you, very important to you, about a certain things. You're not gonna ask anything that particular person, but then again, that particular person, through that conversation, it's really going to confirm their way of thinking about something really specific like yourself, and that in itself is going to mean to you so much, because it's to do with somebody really prominent in your life. This in itself, my gorgeous Erini, is going to lead towards you having this important conclusion. In the last part of this week, it's bringing you an important conclusion. And that important conclusion, it's about you making a really wise choice by leaving something behind and by moving away from something, by walking away from something. Okay, this is so important. By moving away from something, by walking away from something. Here, my gorgeous Erini, you are literally going to realize, it's gonna be obvious that, it's gonna be obvious, the new door about to open. It's gonna be obvious. And I know I'm always banging on about like, oh God, you're gonna have a new phase starting. But seriously, there are so many new phases that start like all the time in our lives. So many phases are coming to an end of our lives, but at the same time, so many new phases are starting as well. So, this in itself is marking a new phase in your life. Okay, so that in itself, you see what I mean? So it's about a conclusion that you're going to have, and that conclusion is going to be consisting of you understanding that you need to, what a wise choice is to actually walk away from something, move away from something in your life that is just doing nothing but draining your energy. You're going to have this moment like, like you're going to realize what has been making you feel so unhappy, and now everything is going to be so sharp. You're going to see things crystal clear, and this is also going to be really giving you so much of a positive energy when it comes to moving forward with your life. Absolutely brilliant. So now you're gonna, what this aspect of your life, you're gonna pretty much decide to move on. You were worrying about so much. You would be like, if this happened like about 3 or 4 weeks ago, you would be like, no baby, no. But now you're not gonna be able to wait, to move on with your life. And this in itself, it's also pretty much going to be so important, because at the same time, this is gonna be important for your happiness. This is gonna be important when it comes to your life in general. This is gonna be important when it comes to your own peace. This is gonna be important when it comes to people in your life. You deciding to move on from something else, and as soon as you do that, you will see that exactly 3 or 4 days later, 3 or 4 days later, there is something very interesting which is going to take place, which is going to happen. You're going to have this absolutely amazing, out of this world, a really beautiful and gorgeous experience. And this beautiful and gorgeous experience is going to be so important to you, and for you to realize what you are and what are you missing out on in life. And this is going to become so delicious. This is going to become so significant, and now you're gonna realize that if you didn't decide to walk away from things that were making you feel so miserable and sad and negative for so long, you would never have this beautiful experience. You would never tap in. What are you gonna tap into, my gorgeous Erini? And that in itself, it's gonna be, my God, an incredible time of your life. You're gonna feel so pleased with yourself, but also with the certain things that you're gonna realize that you're gonna tap into. You're not gonna be able to wait to bring them into your life, and you're going to be thinking like, oh my God, why this didn't happen to me before? It wasn't meant to happen for you before, my gorgeous Erini, because all this time was needed for you to get a certain experience in order to see this in a particular light. Very important indeed. So now, my gorgeous Erini, I'm just going to see what is going to be your tarot card of the week. Okay, so I'm just going to see what is going to be a tarot card of the week, my gorgeous Erini. Let's see. Oops, there you go. Little bambina is coming by itself. Look at this. Okay, so you are going to have a bit of a hermit mode. Okay, so you are going to have a bit of a hermit mode this week. This week, your card is the Hermit, which means that throughout this week, you're going to be super enlightened. Throughout this week, you are going to be very spiritual. You're going to be very intuitive. There are going to be all sorts of signs and indication that I really suggest you to follow as much as you possibly can, because you are going to be in tune with yourself. And there is a very, very strange and unusual sign which you are going to have for the first time at around the midweek, my gorgeous Erini. Very, very unusual and strange sign which you are going to have for the first time in your life, and you're gonna feel pretty much so a connection like never before to follow that sign, to see where it's going to take you. This sign is going to, you are gonna follow that sign, and this sign is going to take you to the certain aspect of your life where you're gonna realize that you do need to pretty much so give so much more attention and care to the certain aspect of your life. And this is gonna uncover a bit more on your spiritual journey, which is going to really help you how to understand, you know, how much you've actually changed within the last few years. But this is always ever so beneficial when it comes to us looking at the bigger picture, when it comes to our future. So this is going to be important. Okay, so pay attention to signs. But also by the end of this week, something is going to come to the surface, my gorgeous Erini. Something is going to come to the surface, and it is to do with a certain problem from a long time ago you're gonna need to deal with. Okay, there is a certain problem that you're gonna be reminded of, something that happened to you a long time ago, and you need to face it. You need to deal with it. Okay, because now it's time. Something is really affecting you, something that happened an absolute ages ago, and you're gonna be reminded of that, and you do not even like thinking about this whatsoever. Okay, and you're gonna be reminded of that by the end of this week. I really strongly suggest you, my gorgeous Erini, to like kind of like do something about it. And I'm not saying like, oh my god, what do like do something about it. You just need to kind of see, why did you allow this to affect you so much? And you're gonna need to start seeing this in a different light. This in itself is gonna be so beneficial for your spirit and for your soul. You have no idea how much you're gonna grow after that moment in time. So please try to kind of see this aspect of your life that scared you, made you feel negative like a long time ago in a different light. And that's all you need in order to start the process of you kind of growing out of it, moving on in such a way where you have kind of understood some kind of like a lesson out of it. You know, and I know that the actual word lesson may sound really, really harsh, but I think that this is going to be absolutely like really obvious at this stage of your life, because you will know what to do or not to do in your future in order for never again for some kind of situation like this to actually happen. So whichever way it happens, it is going to work in your favor. Okay, my gorgeous Erini, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. I love you. Bye.